This motorist was minding their own business when the driver of this Audi decided to cut them up as they travelled along the A30 in Cornwall. You can see that the driver in the cam car had to swerve in order to avoid hitting the back of the Audi. It was an expensive mistake for the Audi driver after they were fined over £1,200 and were banned from driving for careless and inconsiderate driving. Next up, the driver of this black Mercedes is caught on dash cam as it speeds past another motorist, crossing over the solid white "do not overtake" lines. Rather than getting points on their licence and having to pay a hefty fine, the driver instead decided to pay for a driver training course. By the way, if you're interested in the work of the emergency services and what is happening in the criminal justice system here in the UK, then be sure to sign up for our free newsletter. You'll be joining over 12,000 other subscribers. You don't have to be serving in the emergency services to sign up for it. If you're interested, we'll leave a link pinned in the comments. Plus, we'll also leave the link in the video description as well. Of course, it's not just other motorists who have to keep an eye out for dodgy drivers. This rider was making their way along a country road when the driver of this blue car decided not to slow down and instead raced past them. Thankfully, the horse was not spooked. The driver of the blue car was processed for careless and inconsiderate driving and was forced to go on a driver training course rather than take the points and a fine. Driver of this Audi, enjoying the sun in his soft top, decided to cut off another road user, but unlucky for him, the whole moment was caught on camera. It was an expensive mistake to make. He was fined nearly £600 and had a whopping 9 points whacked on his driving licence. This BMW driver ended up regretting passing this cyclist way too close, as the driver was forced to quickly come back into his lane thanks to the keep left sign just ahead of him. The cyclist sent the footage off via the Vision Zero campaign, and the driver of the BMW was given the opportunity of taking points or paying around £100 to attend a driver training course that apparently did include how and when to use the BMW's indicators. The cyclist was enjoying a leisurely ride in the countryside when this horsebox towing Range Rover passed the cyclist way too close, almost causing the cyclist to come off their bike. The driver was given a fine of just under £500 and had their driving licence endorsed with 6 penalty points. Apparently, solid white lines don't apply if you are driving a VW Golf, but doing an overtake like this on double white lines as you approach a blind bend is just crazy. This dashcam footage was sent off to the police and the VW driver was fined over £300 and had their licence endorsed with 3 points, which seems quite lenient considering the risk he posed to other road users. Everything here all looks in order with no obvious or apparent hazards ahead. That is, of course, until White Van Man decided to carry out this dodgy manoeuvre. The driver of the white van ended up being given a fine of just under £350 and had their driving licence endorsed with 3 points. This cyclist was making their way around this mini roundabout when, out of nowhere, a Vauxhall Corsa decided to cut them up. The Corsa ended up passing way too close to the cyclist. However, like many cyclists now, this guy had a helmet cam that caught the dodgy encounter. Road markings clearly do not apply to this BMW driver who decided that he was too important to wait in line as traffic approached a roundabout. 2 of the millions of cameras fitted to your average Tesla caught the moment when the BMW driver carried out this dodgy manoeuvre. And believe it or not, putting your hazard warning lights on does not mean that you can drive like a numpty. The driver was fined nearly £500 and had their licence endorsed with 6 penalty points. But what do you think of that? Share your thoughts in the comments. You've got to wonder what was going through this driver's head, if anything at all. Overtaking on a bend where the speed limit was 20 miles per hour, all because they couldn't handle waiting like the rest of us. Genius move if your goal is to audition for a crash test dummy. Although the driver's audition failed, they did manage to win a 12-month disqualification from driving, as well as being awarded a fine of £334. But what do you think of that sentence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you drive for a living, then it never makes any sense taking risks that could cost you your job. This HGV driver is trying to tackle a roundabout at the same time as making a call. Considering phones have a speaker, why does anyone need to hold a phone up to their ear when driving? As you can imagine by the fact that this driver's featured in this compilation video, it didn't take long for the driver to make a mistake and end up jobless. Thankfully, he wasn't seriously injured. And check out the complete lack of common sense and driving ability on display here, courtesy of the person behind the wheel of this Nissan Micra. It is hard to put into words just how ridiculously bad this standard of driving is. Putting your hazard warning lights on does not mean you can drive into the face of oncoming traffic. Incompetent drivers like this are everywhere. Just like the driver behind the wheel of this second car to the right of the screen, who decided that the best thing to do here was to overtake a car on the wrong side of the road as they approached the bend. 1 minute you are casually driving along, the next minute you have a lunatic behind the wheel of a pickup truck who seems to think that they are auditioning for a Grand Theft Auto movie. Except this is the middle of the day on a busy road and not a movie set. Of course, this is a prime example of why dash cams are so important in the fight against dodgy drivers. Folks, if you don't have a dash cam or helmet cam yet and you want one, or you want to upgrade the one you've currently got, then please check out our affiliate store on Amazon. We've got loads of stuff in there, handpicked by our team of former emergency services personnel. Anything you do buy in our affiliate store will also help our team. If you're interested, we'll leave a link pinned in the comments. You can also find a link in the video description. The driver of this Fiat put on a display that wouldn't look out of place in a British touring car championship, except instead of a racetrack, they're endangering everyone on the road just to shave a few minutes off their journey. Once again, this reckless manoeuvre would have gone unnoticed if it weren't for a dashcam capturing every second of their shambolic driving. Keep your eyes on this vehicle. Within a few seconds it becomes obvious that the driver behind the wheel of this van has decided to reverse up a very busy road, much to the surprise of other vehicles which are having to swerve out of the way in order to avoid a collision. Thankfully, there are still some switched on motorists out there, and they all happen to be coming around the corner as this tool was reversing towards them. If your dashcam captures some dodgy driving, check the website of the local police force where the incident happened. Many now accept public dashcam submissions. Reporting reckless drivers helps make the roads safer. There are some drivers out there, like the individual behind the wheel of this HGV, who think that red lights don't apply to them. The dashcam car who caught this on their camera sent the footage off via Operation Snap, and the HGV driver ended up with getting points and a fine. The driver of this BMW was completely out of their depth, taking this corner far too fast. If there had been another car coming the other way when they crossed the solid white lines, then the outcome could have been disastrous. It is pretty obvious that the standard of driving on our roads has fallen through a massive pothole, as highlighted by the driver of this van, who clearly has no understanding of how to navigate around a very simple roundabout. Folks, this is why decent drivers cannot afford to let their guard down. There are dodgy drivers everywhere. For example, check out the dodgy overtake on display here. And there is no way that the driver behind the wheel of this VW Golf would have been caught had it not have been for the dashcam fitted into the car that was undertaken by the Golf. And this might just be one of the most reckless overtakes our team of former emergency services personnel has ever seen. Don't forget to follow us for more videos. After cutting up a cyclist on a roundabout, this driver was sent on an education course as opposed to getting points on their license. Despite this dodgy overtake, the driver behind the wheel of this car also had to stump up some money to be taught how to drive, as did this driver who failed to give way to the right. The driver of this Volvo may have saved a few seconds at some traffic, but he couldn't save his wallet. I'm not a cyclist, but if I was, the last thing I'd want is this lorry overtaking so close. Whilst I may not be a cyclist, I am a motorcyclist, and other motorcyclists will tell you just how dangerous that scenario is. And keep your eye on this vehicle, because I'm pretty sure the driver hasn't been told about the 4 million dash cams which are on the lookout for dodgy drivers. This is a pretty ballsy manoeuvre to pull off, and you can just imagine what could have happened if the motorcyclist would have been coming the other way. This cyclist was almost pushed into a wall thanks to the bad timing of the individual who was behind the wheel of this Suzuki. And remember folks, if you do happen to get a notice of intended prosecution land on your front doormat after your own dodgy driving, then please don't say we didn't try and warn you. There are millions of dash cams on the road keeping an eye out for dodgy drivers. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to give the video a like, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Our team of former emergency services personnel would really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out our other videos and playlists. We've got hundreds of videos. Make sure you sign up for our free newsletter, and if you're looking for a dash cam, check out our Amazon store. You'll find all the relevant links pinned in the comments and also in the video description.